What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy 8-Bit. You see the title, you see the thumbnail, so you know what we back to do. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. Crank the game up. Check my levels. Yeah, we don't want to come too high on the game. Trying to do better with my audio so you guys don't have to blast so much on your end. So I am trying to do better in that regard. Let me come up a little bit actually. There. I think that's a lot better. So let's go ahead and pick up for a dispatch, shall we? Yeah, and I caught your question there, Bubba, coming in. Welcome back to the channel, Brody. So you gonna hit me with that one right off the rip? Silverhawks, He-Man, or Thundercats? That's the question you gonna hit me with? You yeah. I ain't mad at it though. I ain't mad at it. But yeah. Voltron? No. Let's just be an asshole about it and dodge the question altogether by giving you a whole GoBots. No. We ain't finna go there. Mask, right? See, so here's the thing. I watched all three of them. Silverhawks, partly metal, partly steel. Silverhawks. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you ain't missing me with that one. And of course, He-Man. Like, what 80s baby doesn't know about He-Man, right? Damn, I would say from just a cool factor, Thundercats. But like that came in, shook up the game, but really didn't get a chance to do what y'all wanted to. I would say Silverhawks. And then for that, 1 maybe 2 year stretch and came in and just completely shook up the world, I would say He-Man. Right? Because they had a little stretch in there where they just took over, right? That 1987, 88, when Transformers had started to fall off and G.I. Joe was kind of past its prime, right? So yeah, honestly, I could say all three of them for different reasons. Cause while He-Man was in a kind of decline, Thundercats was still doing this thing. Although, see, the thing about Thundercats, they really didn't have a lot to them, You know what I mean? Whereas He-Man just kept making different, and part that was part of their downfall, right? They just got too far out there with some of the characters. They were just too freaking wild. I mean, you got Beastman, Evil-Lyn, Skeletor, Man at Arms, Tila, Battle Cat. You know what I mean? And then you had the play sets, right? Which were really the money makers. You know what I mean? Let's come down just a little bit because it looks like I'm peaking there at points. And I really don't want to blow nobody's eardrums out. But I do want to be good and in that sweet spot. Yeah, let's come down on the in-game music a lot. I think that's what's causing the peaking, actually. Okay, I guess we're just gonna sit here. Is that what it is? Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and wait for that. I don't got the time. Yes, the drink of the night is coffee. Texas pecan roast, freshly ground. And by the way, every time I drink coffee is freshly ground. So, yeah, we are very serious about the coffee game in these parts. Don't come through with nothing weak. We don't entertain blonde roast unless you're mixing it with something. It's medium or dark. I also found out they made TNG. Yeah, yeah, yeah. TNG Kenner. Kenner had a whole. I think it was Kenner. They had a whole line of TNG toys. I think they were like 3.5 or 5 inch, something like that. Because the old school '80s GI Joes, Destro, and all of them, they were 3.5 inches. Oh, we ain't even get off that good. Oh, he still got the Field of Dreams out there. Goodness. Okay, that was somebody's Mephisto coming out smacking like that. Yeah, we did do a GBR a little earlier with Mephisto, by the way. Hey yo, I think it was in the stream when I did this last time, or yesterday, where we found out like the best farming team. Yeah, because Storm is out there, and I believe Gene and Nick Fury simultaneously. So in cases like that, such as Dispatch, Gene, Storm, and Nick Fury, this team right here is probably going to be your best farming team. because both Jean and Storm can take advantage of Storm's elemental passive, that you do still retain the pseudo double support, even though Storm is kind of not the best support. It is still available to you. And just the amount of DPS that both of these characters are able to put out with just Fury, who gives like a lot. And then this Fury also has a brilliant liberation. So the only thing that you'd really be lacking would be the insight CTP. But it's not as if I'm going to trade a brilliant rage for, insight when the character can actually be on the field and apply the DPS, right? It just doesn't make sense. Unless the content is so hard, I just need to funnel things that way. It's like if Fury could activate, like if I could open up a second slot with Fury for his CTPs and he could activate them both at the same time or in succession, that would be like the best case scenario. But of course, that's not a thing. So, let me not ask for too much weird shit. Yeah, did they change Lincoln Campbell's modeling? It's almost as if they're tweaking it or something. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Dormammu and others. And while it may have taken them a while to do something with the character, they actually did bring a and now that we have the GBR Dormammu in the original suit, it kind of explains some of the tweaking they were doing with his modeling and stuff like that I was seeing way back in the day. That must have been what they were working on. Because you got to think the uniform is a new suit, new animations, new all of that, right? That looks very, very basic. Look like they almost removed all the deco from the face. My guy out here looking like the Question. Not toys, the miniatures, like D&D size miniatures. You remember Hero Quest game from the early 90s? I think so. I think so. So something like that. But and then like I was saying earlier though, I do know they also made the TNG toy line. Like it did not do that well, honestly. I think some of the action figures might have done okay, but in some of the bigger models like the Enterprise and Warbirds and Birds of Prey and Vorchak class battle cruisers and all that stuff, the Derridex cruisers, like all of that stuff might have done okay, but yeah, they made some not so great decisions with that toy line. And they did the same thing with a lot of toy lines, really. He-Man, Silverhawks, they just didn't really give it a chance. Bionic 6 was another one, right? Mask came in and kind of shook shit up for a little bit, like a hot season or two, and then, kids lost interest. And then by like the late 80s, you had things like the Super Nintendo coming to market, or not the Super Nintendo, the NES. I think that was like 88 or some shit, wasn't it? 1985. Okay. So 85 that drops, but by 88, you're really seeing it in households, right? Because let's be honest, you had some kids that parents got them everything they wanted right then and there, and then you had some kids that was like, no, you had to work for this shit, which was a majority of us, right? So, yeah, came out in 85. You might not have got yours to 86, 87, 88. You like to design your own campaign with characters, got horror miniatures. You already painted Freddy, Jason, Mike Myers, Chucky, etc. Okay. Yeah, my daughter draws. My daughter and my brother are both not artists, but they can draw their ass off. So yeah, artists, I guess. Shit. Never really been my thing. I can appreciate it though. You know what I mean? Like I can appreciate the detail and the nuance but my eye isn't theirs. You know what I mean? Like if you do it, then you're gonna see shit that other people just aren't gonna see, right? It's like, yeah, I had to pick a grain of sand out right here and paint over it. You know it's still right there. You can see it. Everybody else miss it, but you see it. Another artist may see it, but to a layman, they're not really gonna. Their eyes too unrefined. It's like with gaming. I'm a Picasso. I paint Picassos and such things. When it comes to fighting games, it's Beethoven the Fifth. I write symphonies. It's like Mozart. The mass whoopings are so sublime. They just like with the Spidey shit, right? I try to do things that are like unconventional, right? I'm trying to do what you're not looking for. If I know it's a mechanic that exists, I'm gonna try to use it. I'm gonna try to set it up, and I have really good spatial awareness, right? So it's like, oh, I seen that shot come from over there. I know it's people over there. Sooner or later, I'm gonna get me some on your ass over there, and then I might bring it back just because. It's like, oh yeah, you can focus on one and get them up out of there fast. Yeah, you can, but it's not gonna look as fresh. I'm trying to show out just because. And that's every single time. I'm trying to lift to smack it down. Let's see. I've had a few drinks tonight, feeling kind of chatty. My wife and I had an awesome date night. Oh, that's what's up. Started at Brookfield Zoo. Had some dinner and some us time. That's what's up. Yeah, me and my wife tried to do the same over the weekend. My daughter was with her grandmother at a family reunion, so we took a little us time. Enjoyed some peace and quiet in the house for once. Sat around, watched some TV, talked. We got some trips planned for later on in the year, so and then early next year we're supposed to be going to Vegas for our anniversary. Or back to Vegas. It's gonna be like our third time going. Like it's really weird because the first time we really weren't there long enough, but we did get some things done. The second time, kind of, I don't want to talk about it, but everything went wrong. Well, not wrong, but unexpected. Let's just say expectedly unexpected. And then, so it's kind of a third time's the charm sort of situation for us. So hopefully we'll get a chance to get in all of the stuff that we had planned to do the second time that we kind of never got around to. So yeah, we're gonna be gone. I think like a week. So should be pretty good. Should be pretty good. Take in a few shows. Probably go up to the Grand Canyon. Go out to this racetrack. 'Cause they got a spot where they'll let you race out there. So I want to go do that. Hey, Rivals fan, what's going on? Who's my favorite rapper again? I must say, still to this day, and a lot of people might disagree, but it has always been the R, the A to the K I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Just saying. You can like who you want, but I gotta give it up to the OGs. There's been a lot that have come after that are really, really good, but it's like that's the blueprint. And then what did it for me and what solidified it was, it was already solidified, right? But then you got all of these cats that come along, the Eminems, the the Busta Rhymes, right? The who when they did their little old track or whatever, Busta Rhymes really ate his ass up. But the Black Thoughts, and nothing taking nothing like that 10-minute freestyle from Thought on Funk Flex, bro. Bro, if you have not watched it, click off, go check it out. I'll be back when you come back in 10 minutes, and then when Flex was like, yeah, he did this shit in one take, 10-minute freestyle. Come on, cuz. Come on, kinfolk. Like that's next level type shit. So yeah, I mean it's plenty of cats out there. You know, the genius from Wu Tang Squad, right? They had a hit like my cousin likes to. Oh, he's a big Method Man fan, right? And yeah, when he was in his bag doing his thing, but they had a head to head, not a head to head, but like you know, a head to head on one of them damn. Just type in Method Man Black Thought freestyle. It'll pop up, right? Man, my man Black Thought told Meth a new one. I mean, straight up, just, and I'm like, bruh, yeah. Not that they was going at each other, cause they wasn't. It was just, you spit your shit, I spit my. It was more of a cipher, right? But man, even in a cipher, it's like that competition, right? Yeah, that boy Black Thought is something else, bro. Like he is nothing to be messed with. But what solidified it for me was when Rakim on that Art of Rap documentary that Ice T did a few years back, and he broke down how he writes his rhymes, right? And he said he started out with 16 dots on a page. For those of us that are musically inclined or have, ever been in that art, right? Played an instrument, whatever. I've played a few, not very good, but back in the day, I understand how to read sheet music, right? If you understand sheet music, you already know. I got a homeboy, right? This cat used to freestyle, and he could freestyle to any beat, and he was nice, right? PTZ, shout out to PTZ. Anyway, this cat freestyle over the ice cream truck beat. And I ain't talking about a beat that somebody mixed up. I mean, he ice cream truck coming down the street. You done took it down through there with the ice cream truck music. You're nice, right? So he asked me one day. He was like, I showed him the what's the name. He was like, "What is he talking about? The 16 dots on the page and this and that." This is a cat that fucks with rhymes, right? That fuck with music, but he's not. You know, he's more so on the writing end, and you're listening. It's kind of like playing by ear, right? So it was more that, but he had never like played an instrument and none of this, so he really didn't understand sheet music. I had some at the house, so I broke it out and I was like, "Hey, this is what he's talking about right here. 16 dots on a page. She measures how many beats per measure, how many measures in a verse, right? And that's the breakdown, and it's 16, right? Because it's four measures, 4 beats per measure. You can double up and make it 8, right? You can even skip a half beat and make it 7, right? Like double up and then skip a half beat. You know where they hit them with that pause and then drop the beat back in. That's kind of what they're doing right there. But I was like, this is what he's talking about. So when he said, I started out with 16 dots on a page, and I got it broke down so tough to where I know won't no other word fit in what I'm trying to say right here type shit. I was like, this motherfucker is just on another level with it. He on some Dennis Rodman counting the spins on the ball type shit. Seeing which way the rebound come off so you can catch it, tip it. All this here. Keep it alive. In the basket. Tip it to my partner. Tip it in off this cat. Ooh, that's next level, bro. Who else is doing that? So now you know it's nice. That's what you call wordsmithing right there. That's what you call wordsmithing. You know what I mean? And for those of us that appreciate that art form, yeah. That's why I never could understand cats that would say, "Oh yeah, it could be a song with some fucking badass lyrics, right? But they can't really feel the beat. But it'd be one of them. Wu Tang was good for this. A lot of the East Coast music was good for this. Them off, awkward ass fucking beats. But these motherfuckers are still rhyming on time. That is. And then you hear these youngsters today, "Oh, I don't see how they rhyming over that slow beat." What you mean? You don't understand how to get hand up in there, do you? It's easier to go over a slow beat than it is over a fast beat because you can do what you want to. Instead of the humming a humming a humming a huh, humming a huh ass shit. Like what does it? No, we don't do that. Flip it, you can speed it up, you can break it down, you can hop skip it, you can chicken wrap it, you can kill across it. You can machine gun it. Then hit them with the floater, with the lefty, with the bank it off the glass. You can finesse it. But y'all stuck in this loop to where you can't do nothing else except Be a carbon copy? Like what the hell? Oh, but that's tight. That's how y'all measure yourself. This is what happened when everybody gets a gold star looking ass. Like, don't get me started, bro. Everybody gets a gold star. What the? I guess competition is none. That's why my boy remains at the top like the sun. And he burn whoever come in a chamber, a torch, I caught you. You should have brought your neighborhood to support you. I'm just saying, man. Like, this is why I say my boy Rakim is like, and that was 80 something. That was 1980 something. Way back yonder there. 2020 something. A lean costs more than your rent. Your mom still lives in a tent. What? And not even that. It's worse. And they think this stuff is like, oh yeah, he said this, she said that. Now, don't even get me started on the female MCs, because Shaka Khan tried to tell him. You get back there with some of them mighty mics back in the day, females, Latifah, she'll tear their ass up on the mic. Lauren, that's microphone royalty, and the Michael Jordan of females, as far as I'm concerned, on that microphone, because the singing and the man say, don't even leave her alone. Just leave her alone. Antoinette, Bahamadia, shit, Salt and Pepper. And they didn't even write a bunch of their own shit. But then again, a bunch of these females don't write a bunch of their own shit today either. So, I mean, by that account, I could put Light and Moni, take that back. Moni Love did write her own shit. But, yeah, Moni Love, like, they ain't, they ain't ready for Moni in the middle. In that paint. Being on now. They'll be sitting up here acting like this shit basketball. So what rules we using? You can't travel. So put your gather step down. How about that? Let's just start there. I'm finna go refresh my drink and I will be back after these messages. All right, we are back. Yes, sir. Yeah, these 30-second clear times are really where it's at. Oops. Excuse me. Yeah, I can really dig that. You heard Black Thought is in conversations with Lupe Fiasco. Oh yeah, that might be something. See, this is the thing, and this is where a lot of these newer artists get it twisted, right? They come into the game, in the game 5, 10, 15 years or more, right? You're still doing the same shit that you was doing when you first got here. Prince said it best. Yeah, a lot of cats, they want you to do all the old stuff. They want you to do Purple Rain. They want you to do, you know, When Doves Cry. All of this. He's not the same cat no more. So now, you know, musicology. You're gonna get that, right? You're gonna get the new stuff. You're not gonna get, the same old. Because your palate's matured, your music's matured, and that's not to say it's gotten old, but that's how you stay creative, right? You can keep doing the same old, or you can do something new, and not that, you know, new doesn't mean try to do what these young cats are doing. I put it like that. What that boy say? I'm trying to think of the lyric. That shit was fucking funny as fuck. This is the bounce back. Ugh, ugh. Nah, don't do that. Like one of the best albums ever to me was Lauren Hill Unplugged. That's just to me, right? Because that's all you. One of the best new artists that I've heard over the last few years out the blue was at least I like a few of her shits. Moo Fresh. And Young Devin if she would rap. and that New York grit shit instead of trying to do everything else. Because I think that would be her lane right there. But she the artist, so do what you want to do. I think if D Smoke was independent, I think his music would be a lot better. At first joint, nah, not what was expected. Let's say not my cup of tea, and not what I thought he would bring with his first joint. You can run up top speeds without without bending your knees. What the hell? The guy who was nominated for a Grammy. Yeah, he came off of that show. That was really just trying to generate more hype. I think for season two, and at the time it really wasn't nobody new coming out of the scene. So, and he's seeing the same old stuff that's popping, but not really, you know, nothing nobody really clamoring for. You know what I mean? It's the same old artists, right? Whereas, if you want to take like really if you want to call it like the golden age of hip hop, that 90s, that late 80s, early 90s, or late 80s to like mid to almost late 90s, that little era, that little 10-year stretch or so, maybe 12 years, it was just banger after banger after banger coming from everybody. And you had Nas doing his thing. You had KRS-One doing his thing. You had Rakim doing his thing. If you want to talk about taking it back to the 80s, Big Daddy Kane doing his thing. Heavy D doing his thing. They did the Self Destruction album with all of them artists that blew up the fucking world and made the West Coast do their own Self Destruction record. Like it was a time back then, bro. And that transition from the 80s artists to the cats that started coming out in the 90s, the leaders of the new school that spawned Busta Rhymes and Wu Tang Clan and the Def Squad and Redman, Keith Murray, Jada Kiss, DMX. Like it was some hitters coming out. Lil Kim, Eve, Foxy Brown, Remy Ma when she was actually good, right? More so on that later end with Remy Ma, I do believe. Yeah, Cannabis, LL, they had their little old beef. Cannabis gave him the business in second round knockout. You know, and I ain't even mentioned the ones that they try to shove in everybody's faces. Oh, the best two is either Tupac or Biggie, right? I ain't even mentioned them. Mind blown. So I'm saying, it's like, bruh, I'm mentioning like mostly East Coast motherfuckers for the most part. I ain't even made it back to the West or the LA or to the South or none of this. Some of that stuff was just not really MCing and lyricism as much as it was more music built for certain occasions, right? You riding in your car, sort of shit, right? Which is really, really big in the South because it's, especially in Texas, right? Because you got to think, if you live in the DFW Metroplex, right, and you're going to Houston, that's a 4.5, 5 hour drive, right? If you live up on the East Coast, you can go through several states in that amount of time. Texas, you ain't left the state. And folks be sitting there, man, say, I didn't know Texas was that big. Yes, sir. You, I hope you like, I hope you got your a car that's good on gas if you talking about traveling around up in here. Cause you gonna be riding for a minute, player. Yes, sir. I mean, and that's a trip that I've made regularly throughout my lifetime, so I know exactly how far Houston is. Meanwhile, you can drive 2.5, 3 hours and get out of Texas and be in Louisiana from the same area. It's absolutely nuts. If you're going back west, then get ready for like 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, depending on where you're going. You're going to Brownsville, which I don't know why, but let's just say you are. That's about a 10-hour trip. You're going up to the Panhandle. That might be what around probably like 8 or 9 hours, something like that. But you can get into Oklahoma in about two. So it just depends on where you're going. I mean, I've driven as far east as the eastern end of Tennessee, heading into the Virginias, I think, or whatever that is over there. On the other side, and that was probably about a 14-hour trip. So majority of that was getting out of Texas. Once we did that, everything else was like, oh yeah, 3 hours here, 2.5 hours there, 4 hours here, sort of situation. Okay. I don't want to do Kang. Oh, we just gone. Thank you. I actually need to do. I need to see if I can get her artifact. I should be able to do it with this team. I haven't even seen if I have her artifact or not. Okay. Let's go over the cap right quick. Okay. Okay, 330 with 39 bars left. I think we're doing all right. Let's get back into our rotation. Okay. Hopefully I picked up. Looks like I did. Okay. Let's put that shit in the corner. Tie all that shit down. Excuse me. Mm. tear all that shit down. Get out the way of your shit. 130 with 8 bars. Nice. With the V pad. Yes, sir. Good old 4-star artifact and the booty box. Okay, we do already have a 4-star artifact for her. And it's the correct instinct, so we'll just wait and get the 5 or 6 for her as we push her world boss stage. So no worries there. Okay, that's one. I never understood the type of Biggle and Pack like elite lyricism. I mean, the whole art form of rhyming is in the cleverness of the rhyme itself, right? It's not necessarily that with singing or, that's about being able to carry a tune, hit notes, this sort of thing. So if the talent lies in the lyricism itself, um, hold up. Yeah, I thought it was another one. So if the talent lies in being able to craft the lyrics, right? Being able to come down through there on that microphone, then it's kind of like, well, what are you really doing if you can't do that? If you're coming with these rudimentary uh sort of lyrics, you know what I mean? Just like it take time for us to handle our business on these accounts. It takes time to make a banger on the mic. So I don't know. That's just the way I've always looked at it. El Pappy. Mm-mm. Yeah, I gotta make a good showing up in there some kind of way. But El Pappy. So even Pac and Big were super lyrical people. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not saying they wasn't, but you know, with a UGK, you know, with a chop and screw, like that's like down south. That was the thing, right? Whenever they started doing their thing, so different vibe, different type of time, sort of music. You know what I mean? Slim Thug, Power Wall, all of them cats. Now I wasn't the biggest fan. UGK, yeah. Who else was Goody Mob? All of them. They had a few that I like. 8 Ball and MJG, right? Ain't nothing like some space age pimping. I'm just saying. Every once in a while, this is how we play the game. Know what I'm saying? Uh, okay. No, I'm saying they wasn't elite, but they made cruising the street music. Yeah, but you know that's what cats was playing back on the West Coast or the East Coast, right? And down south, like they was being bumped all over. Don't get me wrong. You know, NWA, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, they did their thing, right? Bone Thugs and Harmony out the Midwest. All of these cats did their thing. But then when you went off into like, if I go to New York, I'm gonna hear way more Biggie than I am Pac. If I go to the West Coast, I'm gonna hear more Pac, probably some Exhibit, probably some, Snoop, all of these cats, right? You come down south, you gonna hear some Chop and Screw. You gonna hear you some 8 Ball and MJG. You gonna hear you some Goody Mob. You gonna hear you some UGK. Like that's just what it was. Not saying you didn't hear a little bit of all of that all over, but you know, you're gonna hear a lot of that, what I'm talking about too. That's all I'm saying. Why is it I got a feeling I need to combine one of these because I did not read it. But since we got an easy 6 all attack, we'll go ahead and take it. 155, that's low. That's real low. Oh, the machine team. Actually, it's not the machine team, it's Sentinel. Because he don't really get a chance to shine. Oh, Stark flavored Sentinel. Some of that gold with the hot rod red. You always thought Pac and Biggie were trash. I mean, lyrically, Biggie was better. I'm just gonna call it. Now, as far as like on certain songs, subject matter, you could argue Pac was a little deeper, right? A little more philosophical on certain songs, if you will. Not all of them, but certain ones, yeah. And definitely as a person, you know what I mean? So now, as far as lyricists of all time, no, they not in my top 5. Neither one of them. And folks be looking at me crazy when I say that. Oh, name 5 better. Okay. Here we go. Rakim, Black Thought, Busta Rhymes. If you want to throw Eminem in there, sure, why not? If you want to throw LL in there, sure, why not? Right? If you want to throw Genius in there, sure, why not? If you want to throw Redman in there, sure, why not? If you want to throw Sticky Fingers in there, sure, why not? If you want to throw Lauryn Hill in there, sure, why not? Like, Come on, bros. Don't get me started. Nas, right? Most Def. Like, don't get me started, man. And we're not talking about sales, okay? Lord Jamar. Like, and that's just off the top of my head. It's so many cats I done forgot about. Like that much I can tell you. No doubt. Off rip. 20 and 30, 40. 20, 40. And his artifact is for itself. Um 30, 40 on the attack instead of the ignore dodge. I don't think his artifact is for itself. It is. Okay. Yeah, so that might be better overall. Okay. Pop off early. 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and pop off. Wow. Stuck in the tier 3 animation and missed the 3 and the 5. We ain't starting over though. Okay. Wait a minute. They missed the light? I ran right over the light. That's okay. Everything about that room was jacked. From missing the light early on, now we missed the fifth skill. Let's go ahead and pop off here. Yep, still catch some of that proc at least. There we go. Cool. Might have enough time to pop off again. Nope. Light up before it's too late. Nice. Let's pop off before the next light comes. Pop off before the next light comes. See if we can build up. Okay. Might as well pop off because we might as well grab it so we can get as much DPS in as we can before. Because we do want to use the entire bar. We don't want any leftovers. I did get a little bit off there in the end. Otherwise, I should have been able to hit 10 million, but yeah, it's cool. I'll take it. Go ahead and jump off with Otherworld Battle here. Yeah, I need to check and see if Wolverine has like anything on him because he's just getting dusted. And it's really making it where Jean and Maddie wound up having to do a majority of the lifting. Yeah, he's got a greed on him. Which means they could all definitely do for some samurai support. Oh, mutant characters receive extra damage. Oh, okay. So let's pull the mutants. Wow. Okay. So Spider Sense combat characters. It's only one of them that's PvP oriented at all. Let's try that on him. No, please take that off. There. Let's see how this works. Got the hella passive, so coming after my heroes, but most of my guys are villains, except for Cap. Spidey. Not enough. I do need to look and see if everybody has something. We got Carnage, Spidey, Cap should have like an authority or something. Oh, he's got an egg. Spidey's got an egg. I think we just gave it to him. Yeah. And Carnage, I think, has an energy. Okay. AV is what's allowing Spidey and all of them to compete. I don't think that's going to be enough. Not against all that heat. So we're going to have to mix up the team and just not worry about the buff. Cap is probably good enough to stay. Let's throw Ghost Rider in there because he avoids all of the debuffs. Let's throw Jeff in there because he's a better support, or at least in this situation. He's a little more mileage than Wasp with the DPS. Let's see if that's good enough. Dizok Dizone. If we can get past Jean and Wolverine, we should be okay. It's just that second life of Jean. Come on, Doc. The reflect of Emma. We'll let this ride for a little bit. We'll let this ride for a little bit to see if we can't pick up a few wins. After the Night King, Los gonna be in your top 5. Listen to King Los, Boy Mitzvah, and Control Freestyle. Okay. I even think Kendrick Lamar is overrated. I mean, he had that one joint, you know what I mean? That was that They Not Like Us or whatever. I fucks with it because, my team won the Super Bowl and they had to hit them with that at halftime. So that was perfect. But yeah, all shit aside, nah, he ain't all that. I mean, when everything else around you is subpar, it's not hard to stand out. You know what I mean? I'm not taking from him. I'm not taking nothing from him, but I think had he to come up in the age of lyricism, I think he would be one of those artists where he would be a little sharper because of the environment. You know what I mean? So I'll give him that. You know, that steel sharpens steel. Where's the rest of the steel? You know what I mean? Like I'm still, but you a wet napkin. I can't do nothing with that. I'm still, you a pool of water. You trying to get me rusty? Come on, man. Okay, so this is not working. The combination of the atoms, and I might have to throw my atom in there. I might have to tier for atom. I may have to tier for atom warlock just to combat the. I mean, cause having nothing and nobody to check this dude, especially like Emma being depowered. I mean, not Emma. Yeah, Emma, Magic, and all of the other female blast mutants. Yeah, he's really difficult to check right about now. Wow. What was that at the end? Was that her? Was that her tier four reflect? Okay. Yeah, I know what I'm about to have to do. Let's pull that. Where are you? Yeah, get that reflex reduction going. See how that shit works. Damn, bunch of this ain't even reflex. I need Cap coming in at the end. Maybe I need to bring Cap early. Okay. Let's see if this works. Still had to deal with the reds and the reflect. It's like I don't understand it. I pick mutants, I lose. I don't pick mutants, I lose. And it seems like the denominator is tier 4 Adam. That's dealing with him once. But now 3 of my characters are already gone. Of course, 2 of them are support. Damn, I just can't buy a victory, huh? Adam tier 4 is a beast, especially if you get a 6-star artifact. Yeah, I think I got his at like 5-star or some shit. I need to tier 4 him. I wonder if I can get the ups on him with just a level 80. Level 80 Adam with HP. Since, of course, he's not going to have the tier 4 stat bump, at least I can mitigate some of the defenses, I hope. And hopefully he'll still have plenty of attack with the energy. Okay, so he didn't die to the first volley. Wow. That just goes to show how powerful he is. Just even throwing him on the team at level 80 with an energy. Of course, he's always been good with an energy, so. It's like no surprises, right? Okay, so I still think maybe I should throw Gene out there as well, just to combat some more of the heavy hitters and to give me another reflect type. So maybe we put him out there for Doc Doom. Because, I mean, Cap is able to hold his own a little bit, even though he did kind of get ran through right there. But at least we're able to rally off a few dubs. We did kind of get Ares out of the way in short order, so I guess we need to pick another tier 4 character. So I'm going to go refresh my drink, and then when I come back, we can talk about that. And we are. Whoa. And we are back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay. Okay. And I'm ready with ready to open the mythic rift. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we actually getting some victories with this team. So it's actually not that bad. Not bad at all. Silver Samurai Tier 4 is your next unless Bobby gets a Tier 4 soon. Uh, Iceman, Bobby Drake. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you said Bobby, and I'm thinking Johnny, and I'm like, fucking Human Torch already has a Tier 4. I don't know why my mom went there. We'll go ahead and come up out of here after this one. Oh, my Adam actually outlasted their Adam, but it wasn't enough. everybody can't take advantage of Jeff. So that's the other thing with the hero villain mix. Okay, you already opened that joint. Let me jump in that joint. I don't think rift forming is all three of them at the same time. No, it isn't. So this probably isn't the best team for rift forming, but still not gonna be a bad one. Hmm. Just completely opened up on that man for no reason. That's crazy. She likes moves the aura off of her, and the aura attacks you. So 57 seconds under this setup. Ooh, just smack them. Yeah, Project Tier 4 Adam is a go. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. And you like that he's immune to time freeze. Well, it's not a lot of characters that actually use that debuff. I think Jean still has it. She's probably the only meaningful tune that really has that in their kit, I think. Well, no, I take that back. Kang. Kang has time freeze. And then, I gotta find something for you guys, right? So, in other news, I was looking over here on the Daily Bugle, and they were talking about this Defenders Fun Fact Edition. Hello, everybody. It looks like we may not get Daredevil Born Again season two, which is quite disappointing, as the first was kind of a flop as far as the game is concerned. Anyways, fun fact below: Daredevil was the only main of the four defenders to not have a theme in the now removed Heroic Quest game mode, which is a fact. So yeah. And then you can read on here. But I started to think about this, right? And I was like, well, you know what recently got announced, right? Let's let's flip it back. Give me 1 second. So just 13 days ago, 14 days ago, you got MSN reporting the Defender season 2 is finally happening, but there's a catch. Upcoming Defenders reunion has a problem that the Netflix era avoided. So we are getting a Defenders season 2 finally. So hopefully, this is a pretty sick look right here. Hopefully, my guy Daredevil can get some love. Hopefully, this will be, tier 4 Luke Cage, tier 4 Jessica Jones, all of these guys, right? Tier 4, I think Iron Fist has a tier 4, but these two don't, and Daredevil has one. So, yeah. But if not, Iron Fist 2, hopefully they can give Misty Knight a uniform, and maybe they figure out a way to squeeze Katie in there some way. I don't know. Maybe Shang-Chi makes an appearance. This sort of thing, right? One can only hope. But yeah, just something interesting I thought I'd point out, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, wait a minute. I remember hearing a report or reading an article or something where they were talking about the Defenders coming back, or getting picked back up and all of this stuff. So hopefully, if that's the case, they can show my guys some love. But yeah, what y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments below, and all of that jazz. So yeah. I mean, having the Defenders return to the game in an era where we're talking about certain characters being banned so others get a room to shine. I think would be perfect. We all know how powerful the Defenders team up used to be. So hopefully, that can crack a lot of this native tier 2 and Adam Warlock and all of these mutants and all of this stuff. Hopefully it can crack the code on all of this stuff for the more free to play variety cats. Between that and possibly Spider-Man No Way Home, who knows? Or a Spider-Man Brand New Day or whatever. Not hating on you, boy, but it's like it's just too many names to keep up with. Far From Home, No Way Home, Bring It Home, Take It Home, like Homecoming and I wasn't terribly enthused, but I do see the kind of rework that they have for Hulk, taking him back to Savage Hulk. Hopefully, it looks good. You know what I mean? The footage I saw was kind of grainy, so if it looked like that damn toy I seen, yeah, no, that ain't what that is. So we'll see. Hopefully we get Savage Hulk and Daredevil becomes a one-shot meta again, and for PvP, and then Luke Cage becomes that unstoppable tank of a character that he was, and then hopefully they give Jewel a lot more DPS and spruce up her support ability just a bit. They don't have to change it, but they could, maybe tweak the numbers for today's meta, and then maybe sprinkle a little more on top with, say, an artifact if she doesn't have one, which I don't think she does, or something along those lines. Well, she may. They may have given her one with no, because she came to the game awakened. So yeah, she might not have one. But yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm about to open the Mythic Rift, clean out my inventory, and then pop it. Since we're running light on juice, I only got one. Well, hopefully not. Okay. No, that's what's eating up all my space. Okay, that cut it in half. Cut it into thirds. There we go. Okay. %19. Let me go and jump in and get some of this. Up, hold up. There we go. We still got a mythic joint to run after this. If we can get it in. Let's see. Damn. Adam is one of my favorite characters in this. Let's see, immune to time freeze. Adam or a support. You do like Cyclops. Yeah, I do like Cyclops. But if I had to tier for a support, it might be Jeff. Because of the PvP. I mean, he does have some PvP ability to be able to get some things done, even with like an insight or a liberation. So If not Jeff, Valkyrie, because she's valid for a day of ABX, ABL. So I'd be able to double dip. I'd be able to open up a second CTP slot for her and give her something like a liberation and a rage or something. Like I try to think like how much versatility does this character really offer me? With Cyclops, yes, he does offer me that versatility of like a secondary DPS sort of situation, but it's never going to be a good situation to open up a second CTP slot for him. So you're forced to make that choice of either like just roll with the support and then be down a CTP of liberation or insight because you'll only have it on your other support, not Cyclops, right? Or hope that his base raw DPS is enough and then give him the support CTP. So he puts you in a position to make a choice. And to me, that's not versatility as much as it's a stranglehold. Now you can still set him up as a DPS if you want with a second support slot and then, run him however whenever, but yeah. And to be honest, Valkyrie would be in that same boat if it wasn't for the fact that she actually qualifies for a day ABX or AB, whichever one, XL, whatever. And you can say that for a lot of characters, right? It's like if AB wasn't in the game, how would we value characters? I think that game mode drives a lot of character value, and it kind of skews it awkwardly too because you could build a character specifically for a day or a couple of days of AB or whatever, but then you don't see Luna Snow and shit like World Boss and this sort of stuff, GBR and none of this. You're gonna see Mephisto, you're gonna see Jean, you're gonna see Storm, you're gonna see, in both of these game modes, or all three of these game modes. So, that kind of makes a difference. You know what I mean? I could tier 4 Miles. So Miles, Adam Warlock, not really worried about Gore, especially with Jean Grey hitting the meta. It's like I don't need him. Um, Yeah, it's either Adam or Miles that's gonna do the most for my roster right now. Everybody outside of that is like Bullseye, Gamora, as far as DPSs, maybe Mr. Fantastic, maybe Sue Storm, you know. As far as PvP, maybe Destroyer or Sentinel, leaning more towards Destroyer because of the reflect value. Everybody outside of that would be like tier 4 supports. So Fury, White Fox, of course. Maybe Jubilee, maybe America Chavez, maybe AV, maybe Jeff. Anybody else would be, maybe Cyclops. Anybody else would be kind of maybe Dazzler, maybe Polaris. But like I said, anybody outside of that, maybe Doc Voodoo. Yeah. Yeah, I would say the list stops at Doc Voodoo. Tier 4 and anybody outside of that really wouldn't make much sense for my roster. And then even with a lot of the DPSs, they don't make a whole lot of sense either. Outside of maybe Sue Storm because of being able to, like, maybe I could lock down Adams with her or something. But I would need a much, much better artifact for Franklin for that to be even a thing. I would definitely need a 6-star variety. Nothing else would really cut it. Do I have Miles Halloween uni? Of course. And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, let me get Miles out of the way. Let me get Adam out of the way. Let me get Sue out of the way. Then we'll start doing supports. Like then we'll buckle down. Like from Black Friday to the anniversary. And just do nothing but support tier 4s. Because I should be able to supplement like a lot of the PvP stuff with those characters out of the way. I'll fill another hole with ABX. Well, not really, because I got Winter Soldier. So, you know, I got the 2-for-1 special. So that's probably what's gonna wind up happening. Yeah, we need to come up out of here and open ours. Before we have to call it. Miles hits like a truck. Yeah, I know. I know he does. But then again, so does Adam in PvP, right? So it's like, Sue is kind of a jack of all trades sort of situation when you tier for her. You can run her in PvP. She does really well in certain situations. Especially like now. So let me get mine in, and we'll get in a few. I don't know if we're gonna get all 10 runs in on stream because we're probably gonna have to pull it off so we can charge and keep going. We'll do about 4 runs and then we'll check the battery. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set some teams up. This one is gonna be for dispatch farming, and then we'll set up another team for just straight up farming. Like shit like this, story mode, that sort of thing. Because you do have, yeah, I think that's something that kind of needs to be addressed. You do have those separate dynamics, right? That you can leverage. Like I think a lot of players were doing it with maybe running Cyclops lead with Mephisto and Storm, let's say. But now you can run that same setup with Jean, Storm, and then be able to take advantage of something like Fury or something like that. Like if you had a really, really strong Dark Phoenix, you could get away with it with the Zatanna and Mephisto. But the thing about Mephisto farming on autoplay, especially, is he's gonna keep popping in and out of that second skill, so it's gonna make your numbers fluctuate. Like he'll stay in it, but then every now and then he'll flip back, and then you gotta wait for him to for the cooldown and all of that shit. So that can be an issue, which is why he's not the best farmer, and why Jean and Storm what is really proven to be a better situation. Now, if you're farming manual, really doesn't matter. You can do what you do. Yeah. So it's kind of a toss up between those three. Everybody else after that, it's like, yeah, I could do Shala Ball or whatever, but she can shield for now. She needs a uniform and all that other shit. Get a lot of other stuff out of the way as far as the other tier fours. So we'll probably do like Nick Fury, Dazzler, Valkyrie, Cyclops, maybe. Possibly Jeff. Get all of those guys out of the way. And really, I need to look and see, like, I need to think about it in terms of team building all over again, right? So, getting a really, really versatile lead that can work with everybody. So, that's probably going to be Cyclops. Getting a really versatile support that can work with everybody. So, that's probably going to be Valkyrie, right? Then come doing the next best thing. That's probably going to be Nick Fury and White Fox. Then being able to cover my villain support types. I don't think there's an option. That's probably gonna be Sandman, maybe. So gonna have some choices to make. Covering my mutants, so that's probably gonna be Dazzler. And on the PvP side, it's gonna be Silver Samurai. Um, but I don't think like tier 4 and supports for PvP is really a necessity right now for me. You know what I mean? I'm not in a rush to tier 4 AV, Silver Samurai, uh, Jeff 4 PvP specifically, maybe because of the DPS that he has. But yeah, maybe not a lot of the rest of them. But yeah, I think this is a good spot to call it because we're probably going to go dead here in a little bit. So y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. You'd like to see Tier 4 She-Hulk? Uh, that's going to be kind of a stretch. But y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Drop a comment below if you are watching after the show. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.